Hello, I am Stan. I make websites on Webflow. Today I'm going to show one of my work where I transfer the layout from Figma to Webflow using GSAP animation, JavaScript, a lot of custom code for customization of CMS collection, and a little bit more. First of all, I want to say thank you for my client who gave me this opportunity to work on this project. In fact, I have already done around 2 versions of this website. There's interesting and tricky moments on the first version, and you can find it full description of this first version in my account, in my profile. Then we have a second version. I also like this version. It was more easy to implement, but it was still stylish and it looks really cool. And in general, their websites are cool. So I'm proud of this website. I'm proud of work with this client, and thank you for trusting me this project. So let's get started. First, I spoke with the designer, check and understand all the requirements of layout, get all instructions about animations, put videos to Vimeo, and only after that I began transferring the layout from Figma to Flow section by section. This is the homepage. First you see preloader animation with split text animation, loading animation from 0 to 100% and micro animation of the logo. Also after the first visit to this website, when you refresh the page one more time, you won't see the page loading animation multiple times after every refresh, because it was prohibited to get the best user experience. Only in the first time you see this animation. Only after you close all pages of the site and visit this page again, you will see this animation. Next, we have a video of the hero section, then a smooth animation for cards in our bestseller section. Next, cases with parallax animation, which was made using GSAP Smooth plugin. Next, a section with services that changed on hover and the animation of the menu transition to the form. Well, as you noticed on the buttons, there is a small animation on hover. Next, page about us. On the first screen there is a micro animation on the icons, as with the whole icons on the entire site. Next is the section that tells about our experience. Next, the partners section and the team section created by CMS collection. So in the end, the footer and animation from menu to the form. Next, the service page. Everything is clear here, namely more detailed description of the company service. Next, the contact page, and also go to the main page. There is a section our bestsellers with cards.com on a separate page of bestsellers. And the last page, this is a case page. The most interesting part was here, and of course the most difficult part of the work was here in the CMS collection. On this page there are two options for filtering, one with squares, another with lines. When you're hovering over each of the elements, you will see the hover animation with images, and cursor changes as you see. All items here are made through CMS collection. Here we have a page with cases. There are next elements inside the CMS collection that the client was easily customized in the CMS collection. There is a name, a sort number for this client. It was easiest to use a separate field for sorting cases, because it was necessary to maintain a strict order for all cases. Then there is a description for mobile devices. There is also description when you selected a filter with the lines on the case page. Then there is a description for the mobile version for the lines mode. There is also switcher if your case hasn't been published yet. Next, labels. You can see them here, and they are also presented on the other pages where we use cases. Next, for labels, we have a separate CMS collection to which the client can add the necessary elements themselves, and they are automatically updated on the live website after publication. The client can also add these elements within the CMS collection here. Next, we have filters. We can also customize filters, both separately in separate CMS collections and within the current one here. Our filters are displayed here. They are identical for both tabs. Next, the images for case cards, the image for case cards in the mobile version, the image for recommendation cards, which is located in the end of the page of the individual case page, or at the end of the other pages, for example on the services page or the about us page. Next comes the elements that will be within the page of each individual case, and this is the most interesting part. We have here the next fields. Client name, in that case you need to change it. Date for the hero section on the separate case page. Next, project solution and goal, they were made using rich text. Next is the gallery of images with videos and text which on the page, and all of this done in one single rich text element, for the reason to save the number of the fields of CMS and simplify edition. For the mobile version, in that case, when we need different images for mobile, this is how it works. Add an image, and the image in the mobile version is different, and add the subtitle mob to it. If, for example, you want to put this image to the last position, you add number for this subtitle, because there only have 3 images on this particular website. Or number 2 if you want to do this image on the second place, and then you add all necessary text inside the rich text element in Webflow. It looks like this. Here there is a rich text with images inside it, with captions, and higher in the structure empty images on the published website. Everything looks much nicer, because here we use JavaScript, which works like this. The script hides all images inside all rich elements, especially it finds all figure elements inside the HTML, which looks like this, and the script takes all the images from these figure elements, hide all figure, and put all images to the prepared elements above. Also, the script adds all necessary styles, and if this figure has subtitles mob 1, mob 2, mob 3, and so on, HTML, figure, shapes, elements. The script sorts these images in the appropriate order. That's all. Of course, I could use a multi-image CMS field for this task, but for this website the client needs different images for the mobile and desktop version, and the order of these images different for mobile in the mobile versions, so that the client can edit this within the CMS collection. I choose rich text, and in general, if you have a lot of items inside CMS collection and you reached the limit of the CMS fields for 60 fields, firstly, I can help you if you ask me about that. Secondly, you can always use scripts to modify your rich text. Everything's here, even embed code. The same elements and animation for the mobile devices. As you see here is a preloader animation, menu GSAP animation, split animation, parallax animation, line and corner animation, cart animation, form, footer, and the same animation for the internal pages. Also on this website I used fleet adaptability, which I created using Fands calculator. This is why the site looks the same for all devices on large and small monitors, and the same experience for mobile devices. So that was a Fands project. Let's summarize what I did. I migrated the entire website from Figma to Webflow, set up all necessary animation with GSAP and JavaScript, set up CMS collection and customized them to get a customer the full access of the CMS collection, and the customer could manage all stuff inside CMS collection. I also set up language versions. I made the website responsive and it looks the same for all devices, and and we launched this website. Thanks for watching, put me a like below, and if you need help with transferring the website from Figma, Adobe XD, Illustrator, Sketch, or even from Canva or PDF file to Webflow, please let me know and I will help you. Also, I will help you to create a website from the scratch, pixel perfect website on Webflow. Thanks for watching and have a nice day. Goodbye.